let's get to cooking. This is what we're doing today at Mima's house. Hey y'all, welcome back to Mima's house. I'm back in the kitchen today and I'm baking some pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls. Beautiful. I'm doing it using my bread maker so that I don't have to do all the kneading and carrying on. The bread maker does it for me. So I just wanted to show you how I do it because you've seen me make cinnamon rolls before, and I'll put that up here somewhere so that you can see it, a link so that you can go back to that video and take a look at it. But I thought I'd give myself a rest from baking cakes for right now, just for now, because I got another one coming up. I'm going to bake an Italian cream cake. That's just because somebody asked. One of you beautiful subscribers, and I'll tell you who that is at the end of the video, because then I can go look and make sure that I have the name right. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put together these pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls, and we'll get to cooking. Okay, like I told you before, I'm going to be using my bread maker to make these cinnamon rolls. In the cinnamon rolls, we'll be using 2½ teaspoons of yeast, 1 cup of warm milk that I've already warmed in the microwave. We don't want it too warm because we don't want it to kill the yeast. The yeast will bloom in the warm milk, and it'd be just warm like you would give to a baby. If you know anything about testing milk on the inside of your arm for a baby, that's just how warm you want it. You don't want it too warm because, like I said, it will deactivate the yeast. And to this, once I stir it up, I'm going to add 1/3 cup of butter that I've melted as well, and 2 eggs. And these are the liquid ingredients for my dough. Now I'm going to pour this all into the pan that will go into the bread maker. This is a really easy, as far as keeping things clean. You don't have a lot of dishes to have to do, and bowls and all that stuff, and mixers, because it's all being done in the bread maker. So now I'm going to go ahead and crack my eggs into the same cup that I mixed my milk and my yeast. And of course, I crack my eggs in a separate container. So this is the separate container because I still don't want any shells in my dough. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this butter in, and then I'll mix the eggs well in that container and get that poured into the pan as well. Now that all the wet ingredients are together, let's go ahead and pull our dry ingredients. And if you know anything about using a bread maker, you always put your wet ingredients in the bottom and put the dry ingredients on top. So for this recipe, I'm using 4½ cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 cup of sugar. And that's all that we'll be using for our cinnamon rolls, for the roll part. So while I'm doing this, I'll go ahead and put on some measuring music, and you can enjoy the video. Okay, all the ingredients are in for the dough, and let's go ahead and get it into our bread maker. Once that's snapped into place, I'm going to go ahead and set it for a leavened dough. My bread maker happened to have that as the setting. Not all bread makers have that setting, so check with your bread maker instructions and it will tell you how to make just a dough, because we don't want it to bake. You know, bread makers do bake the bread. So I want you to just make a dough, and that's all we're going to do. It's going to take 1 hour and 24 minutes, and I've set it to my leavened dough setting, which is number 12 for me. So while the bread maker is doing its thing, let's go ahead and pull together the ingredients that we'll be needing for our filling. And for the filling, we'll be measuring out 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree, not the pumpkin pie filling, but just plain pumpkin puree. Now I'm going to let as much of the water drain off of the pumpkin as I can using a sieve and a liner, which I'm using paper towels. If you have cheesecloth, you can use cheesecloth. I didn't have any, so I'm using the paper towel. And I'm going to let that sit, and that water will drain off the pumpkin. We don't want it wet because we don't want our dough to get soggy. So we're going to do that, and then we'll mix in our dry ingredients for the filling. And that is a cup of brown sugar. I'm using a tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. And then I'll use a tablespoon of cinnamon. And later on for the filling, we'll be using 1/3 cup of softened butter. So let's get these put in the bowl, and then we'll get them all mixed together. Now that that's done, we'll get some cleaning up done while the dough is mixing. And once that's all completed, we'll pull it all together. Okay, y'all, our dough is done. We'll just pull the pan out of the bread maker. And when you've baked the bread, it is hot, so you be very careful with it. But we didn't bake the bread, we just made the dough, so it's not hot. So we'll go ahead and get some flour sifted onto our countertop, pour out our dough, and we'll begin to work it and shape it the way we want it to be, into a rectangle, as closely to a rectangle as you can get it. I'm going to start by kneading it just a little bit. It's been kneaded in the bread maker, but just enough so that I can flatten it. Then I'll shake it using gravity so that it can stretch a little bit before I begin to roll it out. Now that I have it in a shape that will work for me, I'm going to go ahead and work on our filling. Now, I am not one that's going to be real persnickety about it being an exact rectangle because we're going to eat it regardless. So, I'm going to go ahead and brush on our softened butter. Now I'm going to brush it very close to all edges except for one. I'm going to leave one edge, that left edge that you see that I'm brushing at now. I'm leaving that inch over on that side without any butter because that's the piece that I'm going to want to stick. That's the flap that we'll be flapping over to make it stick, to make our cinnamon roll. Now that the butter's in place, let's go ahead and put our cinnamon and sugar mixture. And I'm just kind of smoothing it over and pressing it in as I go. And to that, we'll go ahead and add our drained pumpkin puree. It doesn't look like much, but it will spread out and we'll have enough on it to add the flavor that we're looking for. Now that the filling is there, we're going to go ahead and start rolling our cinnamon roll. Now that I've stretched and rolled all the way to the end, I'm going to now fold this over and pinch it together so that it will make a roll when I go to cut it. Okay, it's all done, and that's what the cinnamon roll looks like uncut. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use what little bit of butter was left on my butter wrapper to grease my 9 by 13 pan. Now it's time to cut. And you know, I always use a dental floss that I keep in the kitchen specifically for this. So I'll cut it in half, and then I'll cut that in half and make the rolls as close to being equal as possible. Like I've said, I'm not one of those cooks that do a whole lot of measuring. So if they're not even, they're just not even. But they'll still be edible and delicious. So let's cut our cinnamon rolls and then get them in the stove. While I'm cutting and putting these cinnamon rolls in the pan, I want to take this time to thank you all for subscribing and for always leaving your kind comments and your funny comments. I appreciate it. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe. It is free, you know it is, but we'd love to have you here at Mima's house, just as part of the family. Come on over, get some recipes, visit with me as I cook, and hang out in my kitchen. So, thank y'all for watching today, but let's get back to the video. Okay, I actually have 15 rolls, and they're ready to go into the 350-degree Fahrenheit oven after they rise for about an hour. So, old school, cover up with a towel and let them rise. And that is what they did. So let's get into the oven and let them bake for 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, the timer has gone off, and these cinnamon rolls look beautiful. Oh, some have gotten bigger than others, but that's okay. They're all toasty brown, and they look wonderful. It smells fabulous in here, too. Now, while the cinnamon rolls are cooling, let's go ahead and make the cream cheese pumpkin spice glaze. The ingredients we'll be using for the glaze are 4 ounces of cream cheese, 2 tablespoons of softened butter, 2 cups of powdered sugar, and I'm going to use the reserved liquid from the pumpkin that we drained earlier. And to all of that, I'm going to be adding a sifting of cinnamon and pumpkin pie spice. Okay, the glaze is ready and the cinnamon rolls have cooled sufficiently. I don't want them cold because I want this glaze to melt over the cinnamon rolls. Now here they are all glazed. I think I'm going to add some chopped pecans over a few of them because we do like pecans on our cinnamon rolls. But in the meanwhile, let's get one cut. Ari specified this one, so I'm going to cut this one so that she can be our taste tester today. Okay, so the pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls are done. I have my taste tester here, the OG taste tester. She's going to taste this. I think she's tasting it already. Let me get her on camera before she finishes. Hold on. Okay, there she is.
Okay. I'm going to just take a piece. It's really
Let me
good.
see it.
Nice and soft.
Oh boy, and it's fluffy and it's delicious.
It's really good. I like it.
Okay, y'all see Peepaw over here, over my shoulder. He don't want to be on camera, but hey, he's tasting it too. I'm going to taste me a piece. Hold on, let me get a plate with one on it. Okay, y'all, here's mine. I'm just going to give you the slow motion turn. Look how flaky that thing is right there. Look, I'm going to pinch that right there. Yeah, there it is. Hey, you know, Christmas, we like these right here. I'm going to make me a pumpkin one for Christmas. Let me pinch it just a little bit. Baby, get your bread maker out. Let it make you some dough. It's fabulous. Y'all, look, I got stuff on my finger. Wait a minute. Hold on, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Now, see y'all in the next video, which will be that Italian cream cake. See ya. Be blessed. Bye. Okay, y'all. So here's one of the cinnamon rolls that I've added the pecans to, and it was delicious. I really want you all to try this recipe because it was a good recipe for a nice, soft, flaky cinnamon roll. So here's my plate with all of the different cinnamon rolls on it. Ari's still trying to pinch on one. So I think that it was a hit. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your support. And here's a video that may interest you and a playlist. Y'all be blessed. Bye.